Hello and welcome to the Green Voice podcast. I'm your host, Grant Ervin from S&B USA, coming to you from the Center for Media Innovation at Point Park Studios. Today in the studio, I have with me Laurie Roy from S&B USA and Joelle Salerno from NAWIC, which we're going to learn all about, as well as NECA.
Yes, NECA.
So we got a bunch of acronyms that we're going to unpack today. It's the letter show. S&B, NAWIC, NECA. So excited to kind of unpack a bunch of new terms for our listeners here at the Green Voice. Just a little kind of lead in and intro. One of the things that, as I've been involved in the construction industry over the last few years, one of the things that's really come to light is kind of the challenges that we have in the workforce in terms of attracting and retaining people, and massive retirements that are coming up in terms of a large amount of the workforce in the construction industry here in the United States. And so I wanted to have both of you on to tell a little bit about kind of your story, obviously, and your engagement, learn about this great organization that I've learned about in the last couple years called NAWIC, and some of the work that you both are doing to help kind of lead that charge to address some of those challenges. So I'm excited to dive into that conversation. Maybe just to lead off, Laurie, why don't you kind of take the helm here and tell a little bit about yourself to our audience. Who is Laurie Roy?
Well, we don't have enough time for who is, but but I have the honor and privilege of serving as an executive vice president and chief HR officer for S&B USA. And I've been newer to the industry, about 3 years in the construction industry, but I've been an HR professional for almost 30 years. So been around a long time, spent a good part of my career at Alcoa, so very familiar with the manufacturing industry, and I feel like this is a very adjacent kind of industry. A lot of the same kind of challenges, especially as it relates to women in careers and women in kind of the non-traditional, career fields.
Awesome. And Joelle?
Yeah, so I am the Assistant Executive Director of Western PA chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association, which
NECA.
is NECA, which is a mouthful. We are the union electrical contractors, so we're the management side of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. And we have a great team and great labor relationship here in Pittsburgh. And I actually just celebrated 10 years with NECA Western PA. Thank you. And I am not from a construction background at all. I started out in government. I worked on Capitol Hill out of college and for a member of Congress. And I worked on all different kinds of policy, as you do as a Hill staffer. And I fell kind of sideways into working with NECA, and they needed a government affairs department, and that's what I started doing, is government affairs for the chapter. And over the last 10 years, I've just gathered different pieces of what I do, and especially workforce development is one area where I've been working on a lot.
Those Hill positions are always fascinating because, like you said, you come across a lot of different issues and topics. Were you familiar with the topic before you went on the Hill, or was your experience and time at the Hill kind of led you into NECA and electrical contracting?
My experience with construction really was just coming from a union family. My dad's a Teamster. My uncle was a union carpenter, retired now. And so that was, I got the benefit of coming up through a union family, and I was able to have all the benefits afforded to me of that lifestyle. And so I appreciate everything that union labor gives to the workforce, and so that was my major connection, and so it's close to my heart in that way.
That's awesome. So it's in your DNA, literally.
It is, yeah.
Laurie, could you talk a little bit? I want to kind of each of you to explain about the organizations. We've had some guests from our company S&B on in the past, but I'd really be interested in your perspective in terms of talking about the different aspects of S&B USA, the company itself, and a little bit of insights for our audience.
Okay. So S&B is a national leader in complex infrastructure projects. So we have a full service range from concessions, which is kind of the financing part of these large infrastructure projects, all the way through construction management. And then we have also a part of our organization, FAY, which has a 77-year history, I think, here rooted in Pittsburgh. That is our self-perform organization. But we've evolved quite a bit from just doing the more local projects to these much larger, complex ones that takes us, outside the region and all over to address some of the mega projects, which are P3, which are public and private partnerships. So we're servicing, again, those I'll say mostly public-facing entities like the Department of Transportation as an owner, which is a vast majority of our work.
What are some of the examples of projects like locally? Like we have some I could rattle some off, but you're the
Yeah.
guest, so I'm going to give you the mic. But some of the projects that Pittsburghers might be familiar with in and around the area.
Sure. Well, we just finished and celebrated the opening of the Pittsburgh Airport, which is something we've been working on the last few years. So that was an exciting accomplishment for the team. And then we're working up on the Pennsylvania Turnpike right in Beaver on the Beaver River Bridge. And that's a unique project. It's a segmental bridge. So it's built a little bit different than many of the other bridges around the area. And then another project to highlight would be our work on the Commercial Street Bridge. So right over near the Parks Conservancy Center, replacing that bridge. And that also is a unique bridge, a little bit unlike other bridges. And I'm not a technical person, but basically we are working on building a bridge literally right next to the current bridge, but it's on like this thing that's like a slider. So eventually, when that is built, we will demo the existing bridge, slide over onto the an existing foundation that they're also working on, leveraging the existing portion. And slide the new bridge into place. So it's a once in a lifetime, I feel like, kind of opportunity to kind of experience that. And so it's great to have two very different and unique projects happening right here in our own backyard.
And it's fascinating. Like the engineering and the construction part is fascinating. But talk to me a little bit about the people. Like what are the positions and the roles, and like you did a great job of like explaining the projects, but your day-to-day is about helping to find and support the people that are physically constructing these assets. Talk about some of those roles a little bit for us.
Sure. Well, the people are the best part of these projects, right? Like
The
those
people make the
projects are,
projects.
that's right. They are the projects. They're our face and hard working every day. So I think we have some of the most dedicated, skilled trades anywhere, like second to none. So we're constantly on the look for more people to join the industry, take on some of these exciting careers. We are focused on a daily basis with things like carpenters, equipment operators, pile drivers, those kinds of things in our skilled trades areas. In addition to that, engineers. Certainly there's a huge shortage of engineers across the industry, and so we're hyper-focused on building strategic partnerships with different organizations and members of the community in order to have strong pipelines to feed into this growing industry that's rebuilding the infrastructure of America.
That's amazing to hear that story too. The roles and the capabilities are out there, and like as we all know, when we drive around Pittsburgh, the need for infrastructure improvement is obvious, right? And so that demand is ever growing for the people to help physically kind of construct those assets. Joelle, I'm curious. Talk to us a little bit about NECA, and what is the national, what is the organization and the role as it pertains to electrical contractors.
Sure. Yeah, so we're the trade association. We do the collective bargaining on behalf of the contractors with IBW. That's our
You get the
primary
deal done.
function. We do, yes, usually. And but we also serve as continuing education, the advocacy arm in government affairs for our contractors, and we're really the place where the whole community can come together and figure out how we're going to tackle these problems that everyone is facing industry wide, and how to make our contractors the best and the most productive, and help them succeed individually.
Now, one of the ways that we came to this conversation was the National Association of Women in Construction. Maybe I'll start with you, Joel, about like, I'm interested about what is NAWIC, and then Laurie, I want to come back to you about like how you found NAWIC and kind of on our side of the ledger at S&B. But Joel, maybe if you could start with talking to us about NAWIC and your involvement and how it came to be.
Sure. So NAWIC is the National Association of Women in Construction. We have a Pittsburgh chapter, number 161, and so it's a national
That's
organization.
actually our number, 161.
161 is the Pittsburgh
Need
NAWIC
t-shirts.
chapter.
Do we have t-shirts?
I don't have a t-shirts. We need to get some swag.
Yeah, all right.
We'll have to work on that. But I'm the newly elected president of NAWIC Pittsburgh as of
Congratulations.
Thank
Like
you.
all these milestones.
Lots of milestones. Yeah. So the purpose of NAWIC is serving as the association of women and allowing networking and support for women who are in construction in all different capacities, whether it's in the field, in the office, professional services. And so we do a lot of different engagement activities to help women, as well as giving back to the community, and especially in workforce development. And I'm sure we're going to talk about getting involved in the next generation coming into the industry.
Definitely. Laurie, I'm curious about how you came to NAWIC. And same thing, Joelle, like obviously your roles, working with people, and whether it's on the labor side or in human resources, you're seeing these trends. Paint that picture first. Like what is the national and the local or regional kind of outlook in terms of the gaps that we're seeing in employment, and why an organization like NAWIC is so important to have?
Okay. So coming new into the industry, the first thing you want to learn about is, hey, what are the industry challenges that you're going to be facing, and where are all those opportunities to really say, hey, how can we make an impact or differentiate ourselves? And so it was startling to learn some of the statistics facing the industry. First, we have about a 41% retirement rate that's happening between now and 2031, which is staggering. And I know that there's many industries facing that kind of 41% of the industry that will be retiring. So that's pretty big. So that's one statistic. Then layer on top of that, I usually quote about 500,000 jobs. I was looking at a new Bureau of Labor Statistics report, and it's over 600,000 gaps as we speak, and then there's about a 6% growth rate happening across the industry. So this is going to continually be kind of a compounding problem in the next coming years.
So like the demand is outpacing the
That's
supply
correct.
of workers. Okay.
You got it. So I think so naturally, women have to be a part of that solution. We only represent about 11% of the construction industry today, which is, a big challenge. But that's all opportunity. There's outstanding pay opportunities, a lot of, economic independence that can result from working in this industry, as well as just huge opportunities to think about technology and innovation, and how can we recreate construction in a different way. The projects are getting more complex. There is more innovation, and I think that opens up kind of different ways to look at how we construct something versus the way we've always done it. So I think there's a lot that's, the opportunity is right there. We just got to attract more people into the industry.
And so when you came into the industry from manufacturing and you saw that number, it was a light bulb that went off in your head. And
yes.
And that number, just unpack that a little bit. I mean, that's I like the phrase soup to nuts. Like that is, we're talking about, home building construction, heavy civil, heavy highway type of work, vertical. So this is industry wide
Yes.
that number pertains to then. Okay.
Yes.
And so you see that and you're like, we got to do something about this, right?
We got to do something about this.
What was your path, Joelle? Like similar, or like you come off of Capitol Hill, you're a Chipper Hill staffer, you come into NECA. What was kind of the impetus for you? Like what were you starting to see?
Yeah, I really saw it through the lens of our apprenticeship. That's where we most directly engage with the incoming workforce. And I saw that really as it really is where we build the next generation. Electrical workers and electricians are one of the highest growth rate careers nationally through the Bureau of Labor and Statistics in the next 10 years. So we are in dire need of more electrical workers, and we need to be showing more diverse groups of people accessible ways, pathways to get into this field, and for their own benefit and for the benefit of the industry.
Is it the same demand that Laurie's talking about that is, driving that, or in terms of like retirements and growth in projects, or is there other kind of factors that are leading into it?
Yeah, it's definitely increase in electrification in general. The portion of construction contracts that are electrical is significantly more now than it was 10 years ago. So we're seeing more electrical components going into new projects. So we have the retiring generation
Yeah.
that's going to be a gap for us. We have different gaps in our training over the years because of the Great Recession and different
Mhm.
economic downturns that our industry contracted. So we weren't training as many people to fill in.
So that
So
pipeline shortens.
yes,
Okay.
so it's not an even number that we've been taking in over the years to replace the ones that we're losing necessarily. So and now the industry is growing. So much construction is coming. We're working so heavily in the AI data centers, energy infrastructure, and that's just specifically electrical. So
That is fascinating. Like you're looking at this, and obviously we're seeing it in heavy civil construction, at S&B, but like you just touched on something that is worth talking about here, like the growth in data centers, electrification of transportation systems. I mean, I just drove in on 28, and there was, I was surrounded by 4 electric vehicles. So you think about like all the charging infrastructure that has to go there. The electrification of home heating. A couple weeks ago, we had Mike Woods and the team from 2D Electrical Mechanical here, and they were talking about the split units, right? So like HVAC is moving into electrification also. So it's not just gas boilers and things like that. You have more technology available.
yes.
I mean, so like, how are you training for that? I mean, that is like a massive, like, are people coming into the pipeline seeing these trends happen and then see the careers and opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, it starts at the top, and that's one of the purposes that NECA serves is educating our members about these new trends and
Hey,
how
it's
they can
coming.
prepare their businesses for it. And then that trickles down into the apprenticeship, and that's what's great about having the partnership with IBW to run the apprenticeship is the businesses can give that feedback and say, this is what our new next generation workforce needs to be trained to do in low voltage, in building automation systems, battery storage, renewables, all the different spaces that, it's growing the pie of the amount of work that's out there for electrical contractors to do. And you need highly skilled workforce to be able to do that. So,
What's
yeah.
I'm curious, I just don't know this. What is the coverage area for both NECA for your region as well as IBEW5? Like, what's that look like here in Western PA?
Yeah. So NECA Western PA covers the entire half, pretty much Center County, State College, West,
Okay.
the Hawaii to Ohio, New York, West Virginia,
So it's
Maryland.
border to border?
But so it's north to south, border to border,
Okay.
Ohio out to State College.
Okay.
So really the half. And we cover 3 IBW locals in that jurisdiction. So most of that 22 counties is Local 5, which is based in Pittsburgh. That's Allegheny County, all the surrounding counties, North Central, and out to State College. And then we have Local 712, which is Beaver, Lawrence, that area where the cracker plant was, that was in Local 712.
Yep.
And then Local 56 is the Erie area.
Okay.
So it's we represent all of them, and they're very different business environments, different workforces in those areas. So and having such a large jurisdiction for Local 5 is a unique challenge that a lot of lot of areas don't have.
What are some of those uniqueness? Is it more the urban-rural separations or the just educational connectivity or
Yeah, the apprenticeship is a good example of it. We have a training center here in Pittsburgh, and then we also have a training center in Clearfield County.
Okay.
So we need people who live in those areas because, Homer City is not easy to get to. So you can't have all the electricians living in Pittsburgh and have to travel to Johnstown or Altoona or State College to go to work every day.
Yeah.
So we need electricians in those areas, but we also need to be able to employ them regularly, consistently, so they have a good career. All the time, not just when there's a giant project going
Yeah.
on like Beaver Stadium or something like that.
Yeah, you need to have that kind of continuous flow of activity happening.
So that's a balance.
That's a balance of it. So, Laurie, going back to kind of I want to get into the NAWIC origin story here. So you see this challenge here in the workforce. You just start scouring the internet or throwing up trial balloons. Like how did you come across the NAWIC organization?
Sure. Well, certainly, just thinking about the challenges and seeing so few women in the industry right away, you're like, all right, where can I plug in?
Somebody's got to be here.
Somebody's got to be here. Somebody else, is working on this, and I believe there's a lot of power, right, in numbers and us having a larger collective voice. So, right away, started looking on the internet, found that NAWIC as a national organization, and then saw that we had a Pittsburgh chapter, and I think our
161.
161. There you go. A person on my team actually said, "Hey, I heard about this Camp NAWIC, and Laurie, I think we should sponsor it." And I won't get into that. I'll let Joelle speak about that because that's her some of her passion. But it was a great opportunity to connect our internal. So one of the very first things I did when I joined was create our own Women in Construction initiative internally, because we have to support each other, lift each other up, understand the challenges, and you start looking first internally, and so kind of building kind of that broader community, especially between those in the field and into the office, making sure that there's kind of a lifeline, if you will, or a connection between those two groups, all facing similar challenges across the industry. And then now taking it into, hey, how do we network and sharing professional development opportunities, things like that, across the broader region in our community.
Awesome. And Joelle, talk to us a little bit about kind of your role as president, but then also let's hear about this Camp NAWIC and what goes into that.
Yeah, so that's really what brought me, the workforce development piece is what brought me to NAWIC. I had heard about Camp NAWIC existing in other parts of the country.
So similar type of path as Laurie.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I had heard about it existing, and I wanted to know why we didn't have it here. And so I got connected with the ladies who were already involved in NAWIC Pittsburgh, and we started talking about how can we make this happen in Pittsburgh. So Camp NAWIC is a summer camp for girls in construction, and it is a fantastic engagement opportunity for them to get hands-on with some of these trades that they might not get exposed to in other parts of their education. And, we're seeing the decline in different technology and hands-on education. I had woodshop in school. I've got a little bit of CAD in school, and that doesn't exist as much anymore. And so they don't have that experience to even try, how to use a saw or a hammer or screwdriver. So, and especially girls don't always get that education or that access that sometimes boys do. So that's where Camp NAWIC started. And so we decided, we originally tried to get it off the ground for 2019, 2020 was supposed to be our first year, and clearly that didn't work out.
Yep.
So we actually had our first year in 2023.
Okay.
Yes. And so we had 2023, 24, and 25. This was our third year.
Awesome. This
so
past summer was your
This
third.
past summer was our third year, and we set it up as a week-long day camp. And the girls, we are headquartered on the south side at IBW's headquarters at our apprenticeship. And so it's very accessible for girls all over. We have girls from the city of Pittsburgh, all over Allegheny County, and even the surrounding counties. We had a girl the last 2 years who came down from Blairsville
Wow.
every day
Oh,
to go meet
man.
Camp NAWIC. So
That's dedication.
it really was. She's incredible. And we met so many great kids through this program, and they're just interested. Some of them are already in CTC education,
Okay.
where they are looking to get more access to apprenticeships, and that's the path they want to take. And some girls have never lifted a hammer, and they're just like, I want to try something different. And really, the underlying goal is to improve their confidence and in trying something different and being uncomfortable and getting out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
So
And
that's the
hands-on with
basic.
kids today, too, is so important, right?
Yes, absolutely. So the structure of the camp is that we set up visits or engagement opportunities with all the different trades apprenticeships throughout the city. This past year, we worked with the IBW, of course, electricians, carpenters, the ironworkers, the operating engineers, and the bricklayers. And so they got hands-on experience working with all of those trades in different capacities. They got to meet apprentices, male and female apprentices,
Yep.
and meet the instructors, meet the training directors, see what the apprenticeship structure is like, and get to, lay brick. They
Yeah.
got to climb a beam like an ironworker, and they got to build like a carpenter and make a circuit like an electrician. And then we also got into the office side career path
Okay.
as well. So in case, the trades isn't for them, we can also show them the office side, whether it's construction management, engineering, architecture, marketing, entrepreneurship. We had, these amazing women who we know who own businesses in construction who are just killing it and really letting them, you can't be what you can't see.
That's
is a
right.
quote from Marion Wright Edelman. And that's what we want to show these girls and kids in general, just about all the different pathways in construction.
Oh, that's so exciting. Like, just some like logistic stuff, like age ranges. How do girls find the program and learn more? Like, what are some of the how do folks kind of find out more? And when do you start taking applications and things like that?
Yeah, so we designed this program for rising 8th to 12th graders, so teenage girls.
So
And
going into
kids
ninth,
going into 8th, 9th,
okay,
10th,
okay,
11th, 12th.
okay,
So about 13 to 18.
okay.
And again, we're trying to be very inclusive with the camp as well. But we take applications usually around February, March timeframe, and then we get everybody decision about if they're accepted. And basically, it's just based on space. If we have enough space, we can fit up to this point about 25 is how many we can handle.
Okay.
Our first year, we had 9 girls. Recruitment has been the hardest part. 9 girls. The second year, we had 18. This past year, we did get up to 25. So
Okay, so that's max
it's growing.
capacity.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so, thinking about how could we expand this even more is something in mind that we keep in mind. We also want it to be a really fantastic quality experience for
Yeah,
the kids.
you gotta crawl before you walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or we've run across this a lot in our engagement, both with CTCs as well as universities at S&B, and the quote that I always lean back on was somebody asked Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, like where's all the carpenters at? And his answer was in the 8th grade. And that idea that you have to continually
Yes.
drill down earlier and earlier. I mean, what's some of your perspectives on that, and like how you've seen that in the construction industry, the need to look for career pathways for people really starting at an early age. Like, why is that so important?
Well, I think that kids need to see it. They need to experience. They need to hear about it. So we need to be, promoting these things a lot more. Looking for strategic partnerships. One partnership that we have at S&B is with the Challenge program, and they are in many of the high schools across the state. Just introducing kids to different career paths, different career opportunities, educating them on those experiences, encouraging them, inspiring them, all those kinds of things that they may not otherwise get. So we look for programs like that to kind of plug into that helps to, further, the challenges and the opportunities that these young folks can get into. And again, it's helping everyone see, hey, there's a lot of different opportunities, right? You drive by a construction site and you may think it's one thing, but when you really learn about all the different careers and the different opportunities and the technology, you realize, wow, there's a lot more here than I originally thought. So we're focused a lot on promoting those opportunities.
But Joelle, to build on that a little bit, the importance of building that pipeline, showing kind of the diversity. Talk about NAWIC as a membership organization. Like, what's the breadth and depth, and who's around the table, and in addition to the Laurie Roys of the world, but what are some of the other organizations, and what's that constitute look like?
Yeah, we've been really working on expanding the membership of NAWIC Pittsburgh. It's been a challenge since COVID, especially with so much upheaval in the industry and people moving jobs and careers. And so we've been building that back up and trying to design our programming for NAWIC Pittsburgh to serve women who are in the field every day, as well as women who are in the office. And so we have a lot of women who are in professional services, construction attorneys, accountants, that kind of side of things. We have trade association representation a lot. We do have business owners and utilities represented, and it's a lot of women who have the capacity to give that are involved with NAWIC, and we're trying to design programming that can get deeper into the field for the women who are really working hard and doing that heavy lifting every day in the industry. So getting more tradeswomen especially involved has been one of our big goals.
How does that work? There's the folks out in the field and the folks in the office. What's that dichotomy look like, and how do you bridge, some of that it's time and space is some of the challenges, right? What are ways that you guys are doing to kind of make those sorts of connections?
Sure. I can start. Well, we have an annual, usually twice a year, we're pulling everyone in our organization together, meaning all of the women, and providing networking and or educational kind of opportunities. So we basically work with our project leaders. We have full support of the operations leaders and presidents of our business to support these kind of initiatives. So we're bringing people out of the field kind of into that classroom, building those relationships, building those different skills and things to help people grow and stay connected to the broader organization beyond just the project they're assigned on today. And that gives a lot of the folks in the office an opportunity to even learn and understand, hey, how do we better support the people that are out there every day in the field? So that's one of the ways that we have been engaging our own workforce in those opportunities.
What have you seen, Joe?
Yeah, it is a challenge because so many, as a women's organization, so many women have lots of responsibilities outside of work that take
Sure.
up their time. And working with women in the field who might start at work at 6 in the morning and be done at 2:30, that's a different schedule than women who can leave the office and go to a lunch meeting or, lunch meetup
Yep.
or a happy hour. So we've tried to have a diverse options for the events we have. Some are lunch, some are right after work, like a 4 to 6. It seems like 4 to 6 is really working well for us, where we can get the
That's the
women.
sweet spot.
That's the sweet spot for us. So that's what we've been working on.
What are some of those activities? I mean, I saw your cup when you came
Yeah.
in here. What are some of those activities that you are engaging in to make those connections? That's one question I have for you. And then the other issue that I'm curious about is just to lean on your background in policy. Like, are there policy changes or things that organizations need to do to help make the organization more welcoming for women in the workforce? And I know, Laurie, you've done some work in that space, but I'd be interested in first the events, and then let's get into policy a little bit and see how organizations can help welcome women into the workforce.
Sure. Yeah, the mug that I brought today is from
I'm all
our.
about shameless plug.
Yeah.
So like this is I saw it. I was like, you got to take advantage.
Yeah, sure. I had to represent. So, the last 2 years, we've held a women's clay shoot in coordination with the Master Builders Association, who've been great partners with us. And basically, we just got the feedback that so many.
Hey, I want to shoot some clays.
Exactly. So many women don't feel comfortable accepting an invitation to a golf outing or a clay shoot, which is a huge networking opportunity in our industry, because they've never been exposed to clay shooting. Some of them have never fired a weapon at all.
Yeah.
So we had this idea with the Master Builders Association that we put on this clay shoot where it's more instructional. So you can come in, zero experience, you don't need any equipment, you just need to show up.
Can guys show up that have never shot?
Well, that's the thing is I feel like we might need to just expand it because there are so many people who've just never been introduced or
Right.
had the opportunity. So we bring them in, and at each station on the clay, we've gone to Seven Springs Highland Sporting Clays, which is a lovely course. And
Another self-promotion there.
yeah, right. I have to give them a shout out because they're so great to work with.
Hell, Anthony, we're looking for sponsors.
And the trapper at each station will give instruction to
Okay.
people who are new and show them what to do. And it's just really welcoming, and you don't feel judged. You don't feel like you're the odd woman out.
Yeah.
Coming in with all these experienced people who do this all the time. So hopefully the goal is that when they leave the clay shoot, they'll at least feel comfortable saying, okay, I've done that once. I
Yeah.
can do that. And then they, can get involved in that kind of networking opportunity.
Which is super helpful too, because it's also like team building, right?
Mhm.
Like you're sharing an experience together. You're building that network, and you might see somebody in another venue, like, hey, we were at the Sporting Clays
Mhm.
activity together. That's
Right.
super helpful.
Right.
What about on the policy side? Like that's a great example of an activity to build that connectivity. But what are some of the policies or activities that an organization might do to, help engage women into the workforce? I'll point to Laurie for that one.
Well, one of the things I like to draw attention to that I've been spending a lot of time thinking about as we take on these larger mega projects, and thinking about some of the challenges that Joelle just talked about regarding other responsibilities outside. We've got to find more creative ways to how do we help solve some of the challenges that maybe are barriers for women in entering the industries. Childcare being one of those. And I know there's some pending policy things across the state, but I think that's a huge opportunity. And the airport did a beautiful took on a big challenge and solved it by offering some on-site childcare, which opened doors that maybe otherwise would not have been open. And I think there's a huge opportunity for that. I think that just continuing to have the workforce be as inclusive as possible will continue to draw more diverse groups into the industry. And interestingly, when I first was speaking with some of our senior project managers who've been in the industry for quite a while when I joined, and I was talking about some of the challenges that the women face, one of the project managers said, and this was a female project manager, she said, Laurie, if you can solve some of these challenges that we're facing, it's not going to just impact the women. It's going to also impact the men because
100%.
we're all looking to be at, that parent-teacher conference. We're all looking to not miss that soccer game. I want to be able to pick up my child. My spouse wants to be able to pick up
That's right.
the child throughout the week or drop them off. So there's we see a little bit of the difference in the generations where roles are kind of redefined and shared. They're shared family responsibilities, and that means that we have to think about how do we get the work done in a creative way? How do we allow more flexibility
Yeah.
for the workforce in general? And that's one way that we can also make it inclusive. And I think that's not public policy. That's a little bit more of your organization, but
Yeah.
something that I think you can think about how you can be creative and how do you kind of if we can do something similar to like what the airport did, we just got to be creative and innovative. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to do that.
That's a great point, Joe.
Yeah, just to add on to that policy-wise, kind of a combination of government policy and corporate policy is safety and PPE for women in the industry, and that's something that NAWIC Pittsburgh has tried to bring some awareness around. Last year, we had our first ever PPE fashion show.
Oh, wow.
And we partnered with a lot of incredible industry partners to bring attention to, OSHA has their new proper fit standards for PPE, that it's not acceptable anymore for there to be improperly fitting PPE. It needs to fit all different size bodies, large and small.
Concern, right?
It's huge, and that's the most important thing. And, trying to bring in young people into this industry, the most important thing is that we keep them safe. So there's a lot more options out there available now, which is great, and it's just getting the that to be ubiquitous throughout throughout every trade, everyone on the job site, whether it's your vest fitting properly so it doesn't catch on something and get you hurt, having boots that fit you properly so you don't get blisters, or and having the right harness to fit you, having the right hard hat, and all the equipment that keeps you as safe as you can be.
Yeah, that's super important. So as we wrap up here, I wanted to ask you kind of a take-home question. One is, what's up next for NAWIC? And then, what are some things that you are both thinking about in terms of, as you go into 2026 here, we're kind of in the fourth quarter, so I always like to look ahead. What are some things up ahead for NAWIC and your organizations, whether it's S&B or NECA, in terms of, those trends that you have your eyes on, both for the organization, but also for your respective organizations? Maybe Laura, I'll start with you.
Sure. Well, one of the most exciting things we have coming up, I've been working with NAWIC to plan the holiday party that is coming up. So that's right, literally around
There
the
you go.
corner. But it's a great networking opportunity for everyone to kind of come together. There's a huge focus this year on the members and membership, and there's a lot of value. I'll let Joelle speak a little bit more about that. Within S&B, we just celebrated Construction Inclusion Week, so we've had some follow-on things as it relates to those. And for us, as we kind of think about the next quarter and into the next year, we are just continually expanding our pipelines and looking for more partnerships. How do we help plug into some of the already existing things that NAWIC has going on? How do we promote the summer camp even within our own workforce for folks that have family members or neighbors, young girls that might want to get exposed to what's happening, and just kind of collaborating.
As a father of two girls, we're always looking for camps. So
Exactly.
This is
We just got to get the word out.
you're getting a phone call, I can tell you that.
Good.
So what's up on your agenda?
Yeah, the holiday party is really exciting. We also, I know the holiday season gets really busy for a lot of people, but we also do a Galentine's Day event every year. But like Laurie mentioned, we're doing a year of the member promotion with NAWIC Pittsburgh this year. So if you join as a member of of NAWIC Pittsburgh, you will get free or discounted tickets to most of our events coming up this year, and we have some of that posted, especially on LinkedIn. That's probably the best way to get into to keep track of what we're doing. Everything that we're doing is available on our website, nawicpittsburgh.com. We're also going to be putting out, to your question earlier, we do an interest survey for Camp NAWIC. We'll put that out very soon for next year, so that any girls or parents or guidance counselors or teachers who want to stay on our contact list for information for next year, you can get on that list. And that'll just be, it's usually a Google form right on the homepage of our website. And the year of the member promotion, if you're a woman in construction in Pittsburgh and you want to join, you join through NAWIC.org. That's the national website. And we're accessible if you need to get in touch with us if you have any trouble.
They funnel you to the 161. That's how.
Yes, you'll look for Chapter 161 Pittsburgh. That's what you want to join, and that'll get you access to everything that we're doing.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Joelle, Laurie. Thank you for being here today with us on The Green Voice. Thanks for sharing this great information about NAWIC and the wonderful work that both of you are doing with your organization. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Grant. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Awesome. And thank you for listening into The Green Voice. Thanks to Anthony and Wayne and Tanner and behind the controls and in the studio. I'm Grant Ervin with S&B USA. Thanks for listening in, and we will check you out on the next episode. Be well.